Okay, my name is David, and I'm going to teach whoever you are how to use some of the simpler features of WordPress. So what we're looking at here is just the front end of the website. Some of these pages are more complex than others and require a little bit more learning to edit, but at the end of the day you can edit anything on the website. So I have sent a URL and a username and a password to log into the back end. But to get to the login page, it's pretty simple. It's airfilterssalesandservice.com/wp-admin. Now, I've already put in my username and password, so it's going to log me into the back end. So every time you log into the site, it's going to look like this. You'll see if people have been commenting on the site, and you can approve those if you want. Usually, it's spam, so I just ignore it. There are a series of posts and pages. Now the pages are probably where you'll end up doing the most work. So let's think of a scenario maybe where we might want to change the contact page. So let's look at the front end again. Let's pretend like maybe you want to change some of what this says right here on the contact page. Now, like with any website, some features are more complex than others. Like this form right here has some programming, because it's got to submit. So that might not be something you want to mess with. You can, of course, and I will teach you where to find it, but the most likely you're going to want to change things like some of your text. So back in the back end, we see that the Contact Us page is listed as one of the pages here. So we're going to click on it, and we'll see it doesn't look like the front end because there's some programming that defines what it looks like, but we see that I can edit the text here. So it may be something as simple as your phone number changes, and I may want to add a different phone number here. Now when I've made a change, I can preview what it looks like by clicking on the preview button here. So if I hit the preview button, it will generate, hey, this is what the page is going to look like if you make that change. So I can add images in here to the back end. I will show you how to do that, although because this is a live site I won't do it at the moment. So let's pretend like we wanted to add a picture maybe of a customer service rep. I would click where I want the picture to begin, so I'm clicking over here next to the if, and then this little button here that says add media, I would click on that, and then I just simply drag and drop whatever I want to be there in that spot. Now it can be a photograph, it could be a piece of music for people to download, it can be a video, it could be a PDF document, pretty well whatever you want. So let's go back. Let's not actually add any media here. Let's go to the home page. Home page is something else that you might want to edit. Down below you'll see that I have inserted some images here which show up on the front end. Let's go back to the home page, and you'll see if we scroll down that these images actually show up. Okay, let's pretend like you don't like those anymore, you want to replace them. Back here you hit this X if you want to get rid of one, or if I wanted to add an additional one. Once again, I'd click where I want it to begin, and I would click on add media, and then I would drag and drop whatever I wanted. Now all these images are scalable just like they might be in Photoshop. I can grab a corner of them and drag them in and out, since once again I'm not going to mess with that at the moment. But it's important for you to know that you can do that if you want to. Now I mentioned that some parts of the website are more complex than others. Now let's look at the most complex part. The products page has multiple columns and things of that nature, so if you click on the products page you'll get a blank page. That's because it's controlled with some additional things that you find under the appearance editor. So if you really need to make an edit to the products page, and let's come up with an example before I get into it. Let's go to the products page and let's pretend like you find a typo. Let's pretend like you find pleated media inserts is spelled wrong, and I'm going to copy and paste that. Well, I'm going to copy it for now, and you'll see why in a moment. So we would copy what we think is spelled wrong or what we want to change. In this case, I want to change pleated media inserts. And then let's go back to the back end, /WP-admin, whatever. Let's go to the appearance and editor. And then over here on the right, this is the more complex area of the site. I'm going to try and simplify this so that you can make changes if necessary. We see there's a products page template. I'm going to click on that. Now, some of this is intimidating because it's code, but if I want to change the spelling or add words, I would hit Control F. You can see a little find area appears here, and I would paste the thing that I'm looking for, and suddenly I see the line of code that has the text that I want to change. Now I can just highlight that in here, change it to what I want it to say, and hit update file, and I'm good. I could even add an extra line if I want. Now this part, of course, is a little bit more complicated, and that's really just the result of having a more complex design for the products page. But pretty well anything on the website is editable from back here. Naturally, some things are more simple. Let's talk about the contact form for a minute, because you can edit that, and that might be something that you might want to edit in the future. So we can edit some of the content of the page for Contact Us from the back end by clicking on Contact Us. And you can see there's a little short line of code here that says contact form, blah, blah, blah. That's the website saying, hey, from this point forward, why don't you insert the contact form? Well, over here, we can actually edit the contact form. So I'm going to click on it. And we can see the name of the contact form. I'm going to click on that. We can see the lines of code. We don't really need to worry about that so much. You can, of course, edit those if you want. Over here, we can see the format that it will email me when a thing is filled out. And most importantly, and this is something that you might want to edit in the future, the email address that the contact forms get sent to is right there. Now that is a piece of cake to edit. Just edit that form. You can change the names of the different, fields. So let's pretend like you don't want to get their email address anymore. You can either just delete this entire div right here, or you could rename it, secondary address, whatever you need it to be. So you do have some flexibility in here. If anything is confusing, and it will be at first, occasionally, just let me know. And naturally, if you run into anything that you just can't edit, then I will be there to help you out. Now, there's a lot to learn in here, a lot more than I can cover in one video. A great resource is YouTube. In fact, let's just go there. WordPress is extremely well documented. So if I want to learn how to do something like how do I edit WordPress, let's just keep it simple like that. I can go onto YouTube, and there will be hundreds of videos that will teach me how to edit something. And if I want to learn how to use something specific, I can go into here and I can say, oh, how do I make a post? Well, I can look it up on YouTube if necessary. So that's an additional resource for learning the back end if needed. But I will always be around to help as needed as well. Thanks.